A new law requiring schools to limit cell phone use is now in effect. The new policy is taking effect this school year.
And back to school stress, a pediatrician shares the warning signs parents need to watch out for.
And if your back to school shopping list has you stressed, we have some deals to save you money. Welcome to ABC 10. I'm Jay Struberg.
And I'm Carolina Estrada. Back to school season is here and big changes are coming. We start with the largest district in our area, Sacramento City Unified. Students are heading back to class as the district faces a financial crisis that could threaten its ability to pay bills.
While district leaders work to avoid an emergency state loan, families are left with questions about what the financial issues could mean for their kids' education. ABC 10's Austin Castro explains what families could see now and what remains uncertain in the months ahead.
Inside Sacramento City Unified Schools, teachers are preparing lessons, organizing classrooms, and preparing to welcome students back.
Teachers, when we see the start of the school year coming, that's what our sole focus is, on being ready for our students.
But behind that familiar back-to-school routine, the district's financial future remains unsettled. Financial experts warn the district could run out of available cash by February, potentially leaving it without enough money to meet obligations, including employee payroll. District leaders have been working to cut costs and avoid an emergency state loan. The school board president now says the district is still considering how to respond after county officials question parts of its financial recovery plan.
We are exploring every option available to us, including legal. Our support system needs to be helping us move forward, and I'm baffled at how it doesn't seem to be doing that.
An emergency loan could keep the district operating, but it could also trigger state receivership that would shift much of the district's decision-making power from the locally elected school board to a state-appointed administrator. The district and teachers union say their recovery efforts are designed to protect school sites and keep the deepest cuts away from students.
They have made cuts to administration at our district office, not administration at our school sites, not teachers at our school sites or programs.
However, there is still no guarantee the financial pressure will remain outside the classroom. The district has already approved staffing cuts and other reductions, and county officials have questioned whether parts of its latest savings plans are realistic and sustainable. For educators who also live in the district and send their own children to its schools, the uncertainty has taken a toll.
It's very hard for all of us that work here in Sac City Unified, that our kids go to school here, that we're part of the community, to worry about the school district that we love having financial problems. It's very stressful.
Looking ahead, the longer test will be whether the district can keep the school year stable for students while finding a way to balance its books and maintain local control. In Sacramento, Austin Castro, ABC 10.
Now to Stockton, where one of the biggest challenges the school faces is chronic absenteeism. Stockton Unified says getting students back in the classroom is a top priority this school year. District leaders say when students miss too much school, it can have a lasting impact on their academic success. That's why Stockton Unified is identifying students who need extra support, partnering with families, and removing barriers that may keep children out of the classroom. We asked Superintendent Dr. Michelle Rodriguez how the district is working to improve attendance and why every school day matters.
Our teachers are now going to get paid extra to do home visits with our child welfare and attendants, home visits with our counselors. Because what our students are saying is they don't want to open up the door for home visits for people they don't know. And that's understandable. So our teachers did it many years ago. So we're trying to bring that back where, and this is all voluntary, but teachers can get paid after school to go seek out those students because they're the ones that have the relationship with them.
Superintendent says that improving attendance is a team effort. District leaders are encouraging parents to make school attendance a priority and to reach out to their child's school if they're facing challenges that make it difficult to get students into classrooms. Well, this year, every public school district in California is required to have a policy limiting student cell phone use during the school day. But Stockton Unified isn't new to this change. The district rolled out its cell phone policy last year. We sat down with Superintendent Dr. Michelle Rodriguez to find out what's working, what they have learned, and what parents need to know.
For students heading back to school across California, cell phone use during the school day is now limited. But Stockton Unified implemented its policy last year, giving staff, students, and parents a chance to see what works.
We also surveyed our parents, our staff, and our students because we wanted to make sure that we listened to all perspectives. And I think we came up with a really happy medium.
That policy looks different depending on a student's age. For K through 8th grade, it's essentially gate to gate.
But for K-8, it is gate to gate. So a student may not use a cell phone as soon as they enter into school until they leave school. They can have it on them.
High school students have more flexibility, on the other hand, with phone use allowed only during lunch and passing periods.
We really listened to our students, and what we heard from them was social emotionally, they really felt that they really needed to have those cell phones during lunch and during passing periods.
District leaders say one of the biggest lessons from year one was making expectations clear from the start. They also say limiting phones can help reduce bullying, especially at the middle school level.
In terms of bullying, especially in the middle school when they don't have any access to it at all during the day.
Now, as districts across California implement their own policies, Stockton Unified is bringing a year of experience into the new school year.
In classrooms, apps, group chats, and AI tools are now part of everyday learning, raising new questions about privacy and boundaries. Nuala O'Connor, an AI privacy and online safety expert, has advice for parents who may be concerned that their kids are relying too much on AI in school.
And the litmus test, I think, should be, did your child learn something from this assignment? I heard recently the idea that ask your child to explain their answer to you without any materials near them at all, without the computer, without any books, without any written materials. If they can't explain what they're talking about, what their analysis is of this book or whatever their term paper is about without the crutch, then it really wasn't a learning moment for them and they need to go back to basics. You see more and more schools, as you've heard, and lots of universities going back to written exams for this very reason, to prove that the individual has the knowledge in their head. That's what we're here for, is to learn. And again, this is just a high-tech version of cheating if it's used improperly.
So what are some signs that a student may be ready for more independence from devices?
I think it's a kind of a three-stage approach that matches elementary, middle school, and high school. But really, the first question is the child's maturity where you think it needs to be for the new freedoms? In general, elementary school students, you're right there with them. You're not letting them, you're letting them use apps if you're on them with them, if you know their passwords, if you're supervising. And at any age, we want to limit the number of hours at any one sitting to make sure they're getting outside, they're doing other things with their brain, their vision, all sorts of things. In the middle school, obviously they're doing a lot more social connectivity. You want your child to have friends. You want them to engage in healthy behaviors and relationships. So you're kind of co-piloting their use of the internet and their use of these apps. You're checking in with them frequently. You might still have their passwords depending on how that conversation goes with your child. When they're getting to high school, you want them to launch and be ready by the end of high school to go to college, to go to work, to know how to self-regulate. That's the goal. You want your child to be a responsible citizen on the internet, to post responsibly about themselves and about others. There's a whole conversation around deep fakes, which are, again, potentially very damaging if used inappropriately about them or about others. But the goal here is independent, healthy, responsible use. And so little by little, you're taking a back seat. You're helping coach, but you're not supervising their use unless they're getting into trouble.
It really is an extraordinary moment that we're in because we're becoming so much more reliant on these chatbots, not just for help with the chore or homework or whatever, but also to build a relationship too. So you're building trust with an algorithm and a robot.
Such an important point to remember that they are not alive. And people laugh when I say that, but they are anthropomorphized, meaning they are computers that are taking on attributes of human beings. And it's, as you've said before, hugely controversial in the use of AI, generative AI in schools, also in the healthcare system. Potential great opportunities, but also real risk that these are devices that do not have codes of ethics like therapists would in the real world. And that people, lonely people, especially people who are isolated, whether they're seniors or simply isolated from peers, become increasingly reliant on them. So I encourage people simply to talk to their kids, talk to them every single day. No phones at the dinner table. If there's another rule I could leave you with, no phones at the dinner table. Everybody looks each other in the eye and talks about what they did that day. And I also, when they were younger, was checking in a lot about, what are you doing online? What are you seeing? Who are you talking to? Asking those questions. if not, once a week, if not every day.
Nuala O'Connor, AI privacy and online safety expert. I appreciate your time and your insight.
Thank you.
Not that long ago, e-bikes were still a niche product, so there were fewer of them on the road. But the industry's boom in California is raising new safety concerns. A UC San Diego study found reported e-bike collisions in the state rose from just 2 in 2018 to over 1,500 in 2024 as injuries became more severe and children made up a larger share of victims. Researchers say the findings, based on CHP traffic records, show e-bike crashes are becoming a distinct and growing public health issue.
The problem with an electric bicycle is that a lot of folks don't realize is, modern motors with, lithium batteries, when you crank the throttle, there's a lot of torque there right away. And just like anybody who's seen a Tesla drive on the highway, it has a lot of acceleration and speed. So can e-bikes. And so they can be surprising. People are often surprised how quickly they can accelerate and how much the speeds they can attain. And they're generally heavier. And what we're noticing, and the study showed, is that the injuries on e-bikes are more severe than they are on bicycles. So, and it's probably because the way they're being driven, the behavior of some of the riders, and their heavier weight, just basically ends up with a more severe injury.
Back to school is about more than just binders, backpacks, and notebooks. A lot of parents are also thinking about how to set their kids up for success, from healthy lunches to building confidence and even cutting back on that screen time. I spoke with parenting and lifestyle expert Amanda Mushrow, who has some simple ideas and products to help kids start the school year strong.
We want to think about nutrition, but also how can we make it a little bit easier on us as we're packing it. So I'm a big fan of drinks that can add a little extra protein and nutrition. I really love the Parmalat milk, the individual bottles. They've got whole milk, 2%, and my kid's favorite, which is the chocolate milk. 7 grams of protein packed with calcium and vitamin D. It's an easy way to throw in something that's going to stick with them a little bit longer that you can feel good about.
So for parents who have kids who are heading to the classroom for the first time, how can they boost their self-confidence?
Yeah, so one thing that I really love, and I've used it with my younger kiddo, is Smile Zemi. So it's an at-home learning center. Basically, they learn through playing different games, and it's reading and it's writing and math. It's geared towards kids in elementary school, and they even have a special program designed for kids that are heading into kindergarten. I love it because there's a parent portal. You can see what your kids' strengths are, what maybe they need to work a little bit more on. I also love that it does not connect to Wi-Fi. So that means if your kiddo is playing on their Smile Zemi, working on their math, they're not on kids' YouTube or Roblox. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, internet is always a concern with parents. Let's talk STEM toys. They're very popular right now. Do you have one that is both educational and engaging?
Yeah. Plus, it's also really cool. And I think the parents are going to like it just as much. This is from Abacus Brands, and this is the National Geographic. This is their virtual reality extinction. So you're going to pop your phone right in here. You download an app, and you can walk around and see dinosaurs. This is so cool. You just kind of point, and you're able to look at the dinosaurs. You see them on scale. You can learn about them. There's an educational book that goes along with it. It takes VR and makes it really manageable for kids. It's such a cool way to learn. My 7-year-old, who's obsessed with dinosaurs, absolutely loves this, and he figured it out in no time at all.
Oh, that sounds really cool right there. Wish I had something like that growing up. How can parents encourage creativity, independent play, away from the electronics? That's always a concern.
Yeah. So one thing that I love, especially for little ones, is a toy that they can be creative with. And these are Busykins, and these have been a favorite of mine. They're soft dolls, but inside, you open the flap, is a busy book. So there's little things that they can touch, they can tuck them in, they can play with them. Very sensory driven. It's a great way for creativity and quiet play. And then when they're ready, they can just kind of snuggle up with their little Busykin.
Coming up, back to school also means back to the doctor's office, what to know about vaccines and annual physicals before classes start. And we'll leave you with a look at start dates for some of the districts in our area. We'll be right back.
A new housing requirement is in effect at Sacramento State University this year. Starting this fall, most new freshmen will be required to live on campus for their first 2 years. The rule applies to incoming non-transfer first-year students. The school has listed various exemptions students can apply for, such as local residence, age, and financial hardship. Students we spoke with voiced concerns over on-campus housing availability.
I don't know how much they can hold from freshmen and sophomores, because that's what, thousands of people.
I think that if people see they have to spend their first 2 years here and spend $30,000 maybe I think that would deter people from attending here.
The university tells us they planned multiple housing projects to accommodate new students.
Back to school season also means it's time to make sure kids are healthy and ready for the classroom. A UC Davis pediatrician says annual checkups and staying up to date on vaccines can help set up students for a successful school year. Doctors recommend scheduling a yearly physical for children and teens in advance. These visits aren't just about sports. They're also an opportunity to check growth and development, screen for vision and hearing problems, and also answer parents' health questions.
The way that we approach it is through growth surveillance, we call it. And we're checking in on changes that occur in the child's mind, their mood, and their physical bodies every year. So that's an important opportunity for parents to gain some understanding about what they could see coming for their child in the year and plan for different things that might come up.
With health being a top concern for many parents, Placer County is offering free back-to-school vaccination clinics for eligible children. The clinics are aimed at children who don't have health insurance or who have Medi-Cal, but they're also having trouble accessing required vaccines. They will be held in Auburn now through September, and appointments are required.
A lot of families, if they're uninsured, the vaccines can be very expensive, and that can be very cost prohibitive for many, many families. So that is a barrier we see with a lot of our families. Sometimes families who have Medi-Cal have difficulty accessing routine medical care. There can be longer waits sometimes to get into your doctor's office, and then that means their kids aren't starting school on time.
California law requires children to be vaccinated before attending school, preschool, or daycare unless they have a valid medical exemption from a licensed physician. The vaccines are available at no cost, and you can get them through the Federal Vaccine for Children program. The push to get children vaccinated comes as health officials continue to monitor a measles outbreak in Placer County.
It helps keep our communities healthy and well. We're very happy to offer this service to our community members who may struggle to get those vaccines at no cost.
Recently, kindergarten and 7th grade vaccination rates in Placer County have surpassed statewide averages. Now, to book an appointment, you can call or email the county. And we check in with Mark this morning. Hello, Mark.
Thanks, you guys, as we continue our half-hour special dedicated to all things back to school. It's the biggest pep rally in the history of pep rallies. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Stockton is doing it right. 5,000 people invading the arena. You'll get to know all of them next.
Welcome back. Pediatricians warn a child's mental health deserves just as much attention as their physical health. We spoke with an UC Davis pediatrician about how families can recognize stress and help kids start the school on the right foot. For many students, the start of a new school year brings excitement, but it can also bring anxiety. Experts say it's normal for kids to feel stressed, but when those feelings start affecting their daily routines, it may be time for parents to take a closer look.
For younger children, who are entering into kindergarten or into first grade, it's often that separation from the routine and the life that they had at home, and not feeling secure in that as they go into a new environment. That's a big stressor for them. For older kids, they start experiencing the stresses of expectations in school that perhaps they didn't have at home.
Doctors say one of the best ways to support children's mental health is by creating consistent routines before school begins. That includes getting enough sleep, limiting screen time, and making space for open conversations about how they're feeling. Well, the start of the school year isn't just about kids. Teachers and staff members are also cheering on the new year to get students hyped.
ABC 10's Mark S. Allen shows us Stockton's school spirit and how you can give back to teachers making a difference.
There you go. You're just in time. What would our back-to-school special be without cheerleaders, without pep rallies, without the biggest pep rally ever in Stockton? Give yourselves a big round of applause. Coming through, come through, come through. Doctor, this would not be possible without you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Talk about the success. Bigger and better every year, 4 years running.
Yep, this is our theme this year is greater things yet to come, because we've done some amazing things. But we want to make sure that all 5,400 staff members are ready for another year of even greater things.
Talk about the pep that lasts all year long.
Yeah, so this energy is contagious. So when you start off on the right foot, then you just keep with it the whole year.
I know you're in demand, so I just want to tell you thank you so much.
Okay,
all right, let's get to know some rowdy people over here. What's up, rowdy people? All right, who are you? What school?
I'm Principal Mata from Mata Elementary.
Awesome, and look at this spirit. Look at the theme. What does this pep rally mean to you?
For greater things to happen in SUSC, and we're looking forward to seeing our kids and having an awesome year.
All right. Some of the best teachers in the world, I say, are right here among us. If you know a great teacher, they should be Teacher of the Month and then go on to be our Teacher of the Year. Barbara is the 2026 reigning champion right now. We had a huge ceremony at one of the biggest theaters in Sacramento to crown her. In fact, Jack Black and Donald Glover did the honors. It looked a little something like this. Jack Black, do it!
Jack, a year ago, you had the pleasure of doing what we're about to do right now. There's an audience full of teachers about to watch this on the IMAX screen, one of which is a great California teacher that's about to be named here. What? Are you ready? Yep. Yes. Barbara Brooks Schreier!
Teacher of the Year!
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. It was a huge surprise.
So what does it feel like to know that from Tokyo, Jack Black and Childish Gambino, Grammy Award winner, shouting you out?
I know. I can't believe it. I am a huge fan of Jack Black, and I'm just super excited that he was the one that presented or announced the award.
I'm getting choked up just thinking back to that day in your classroom. So you just have to know how much you move people, how well deserved this is.
Thank you.
You want to inspire other people. There are people watching right now that are going through their deepest, darkest time, and also people that might want to be educators. What do you say to them?
Just do what you love and make sure that you love kids and you want to support them in any way you can, no matter what they're going through. Everyone has their story, and they just their kids first, and just keep being the best teacher that you can be.
Right on. The future is great in your hands.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. You're the Teacher of the Year.
I know.
Go to abc10.com/Teacher of the Month. We would love to crown yours and ultimately the Teacher of the Year. You guys got great teachers, right?
I have the best teachers in the district. No, yes, I do. And the whole district.
Hey, can I rile them up?
Yes.
I've got spirit. Yes, I do. I've got spirit. How about you? The biggest pep rally ever here in Stockton. Back to you.
And boy, they have school spirit. Incredible, the Teacher of the Year. Well, thank you for joining us for all things back to school.
Our coverage does not end here. Join us every morning from here on the ABC 10 streaming app for the latest updates on districts in your area.